Every single team has made the playoffs in the first year. So you are able to take a team and turn it around quickly. That's not a coincidence, Wade. Wade Phillips joining us. That's a stat that's not a coincidence.
I hope you're right about that.
Well, what is it, though? You look fantastic.
Well, thanks, yeah.
What is it? Well, how do you implement? Because not a lot of coaches, it's a slow build. What do you do initially? What did you do with the Rams?
Well, you know, I coached in high school and college, too, and you have to do it right now. So you have to be willing to work with young players and get them to be able to play quickly. So, you know, our teaching system I think is good as far as teaching the defense, but and we've been in it so long that I think getting players to use their ability at that position is different with each within our scheme. So I think that's a big part of it.
When you came to the Rams, they had some what I would call big personalities. Ndamukong Suh, the criticisms I heard from scouts through the years, he's kind of doing his own thing. Aaron Donald's not. He maybe since Reggie White's the best kind of defensive lineman we've seen. You had a lot of personalities. Can truth be told, it was not the easiest defense to coach?
Oh, I don't know. Most, you know, they want to win. You know, I think players want to win if they think you can help them win. I think that's the big key. I've been in it so long, reputation-wise. I come in, they think I know what I'm talking about. So
right.
that's helpful. And yeah, I usually have a positive attitude. You know, so. I think that helps too.
You held the Patriots to their lowest offensive output in the 9 Super Bowls they've been in. Let's go back to that. There's a narrative out there, Wade, you know, Tom Brady's declining, and he is 42, 43. We all declined at some point, right? What was the secret sauce with Brady? What did you take away from Tom that nobody else did?
I don't know. You know, it's hard to say you have success against him because if you play him enough times, he's done some great things. We did beat them in Denver a couple of times in that Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, you won a Super Bowl in Denver.
Yes, but we beat them during the regular season and the AFC Championship.
Does he have a hole in his game?
No, no. He's a great player. It's you know, if the offensive line doesn't hold up or the receivers don't catch the ball enough, but he's the GOAT. I mean, he's the greatest of all time. You know, I think everybody can agree with that. So. You know, I think you're a little bit lucky sometimes against him, and I don't know the answer, or I would have beaten him earlier if I could have, but I couldn't.
Your dad was the legend.
And he won the last one on me.
Your dad was the legendary Bum Phillips. So when you look around, the combine starts this week,
right?
And college football it doesn't even look like it looked when I was growing up in the 70s. You'd have one wide receiver split out. Now sometimes you have one back and 4 receivers split out. What is college football giving guys like you today? How has the game changed? Are players less athletic, more athletic? Are they more physical, less physical? What is the college game giving the pro game today?
Well, I think it's giving it receivers and really more quarterbacks. You know, we're seeing more quarterbacks come in, Mahomes and Murray, and I think we're seeing it because they're throwing the ball so much more that everybody wants a quarterback can throw, not a quarterback that can hand off, unless it's Lamar Jackson that can throw and run with it. But the college game, they said for a while, you know, didn't translate, but now they throw so many passes. And you want them to be accurate, and that's what they're practicing. So I think the college quarterbacks are coming in and being able to play a little sooner.
Who is to you in the last 5 to 6 years the young quarterback you've faced that is really good? Like you look at him on film, Wade, with all your acumen. A young quarterback in the last 5 years you've faced and thought, wow, he's ahead of his years.
Well, Mahomes, I think, is definitely the guy. He's the Brett Favre, I think, of this generation. I mean, he makes throws great in the pocket, off schedule, runs with it. He can do it all and makes the right decisions and the accuracy. He's tremendous, and he showed it obviously.
Russell Wilson gets drafted in the 3rd round. Little short, moves a lot. But there are players, he reminds me a little bit of Steve Young, but a right-hander, where he came into the league as a mover and then became a great pocket quarterback who can still move. Is there a way to defend Russell Wilson? You had to face him twice a year in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he's a playmaker. He's not like Stabler in that the same kind of quarterback, but he's the quarterback that you don't want to give him the ball with 2 minutes left in a game and them have a chance to win. You want to be able to keep the ball in those situations. And speaking of Mahomes, you know, we beat Mahomes a couple of years ago on that Monday night game.
Yes.
And he only got 51 on us. So.
But people would say Mahomes runs around and Russell runs around, but they feel so different to me.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
I think Russell's learned exactly when to run and when not to. I mean, both of them look to throw it as they're running. But Russell, especially in the last 2 minutes, I mean, he'll run with it and make those key first downs, and he still makes the throws, obviously, but he's great in the last 2 minutes.
We're talking about running quarterbacks. Rams have a young man named Jared Goff, who I thought this year, when the center guard spot for the Rams eroded. You had John Sullivan retired. They moved off a very good guard to Tennessee free agency. And then they had an injury. So the O-line was wasn't as good center guard. Do you worry for a Jared Goff? Paid him a lot of money. Gurley, we don't know exactly where it's at right now, that in this system, if he doesn't get great protection, he's a limited thrower. He's a limited player.
I don't know. I mean, we won 35 games in the last 3 years, so, and everybody says, hey, you got to have a quarterback to win, and you got to have a quarterback to go to the Super Bowl. So, I don't know, like him as a leader and a person, but I still think he's a quarterback that can win for you.
In terms, I always look at Jared and I think he's a nice deep ball thrower. He throws a beautiful ball. That's what it looks like to me.
He does. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right again.
Oh, well, you know, I'm just throwing crap out there, Wade. Wade Phillips.
The thing I like about you is you admit when you're wrong. That
happens all the time, Wade.
Most people don't.
I'm going to read this here. You have coached arguably the 3 best defenders of the decade: J.J. Watt, Von Miller, and Aaron Donald.
DeMarcus Ware's in there somewhere, too.
He's really good.
He's close.
By the way, nobody recruited him. Do you know he went to high school near Auburn?
Yeah, in Auburn, yeah.
And they didn't offer him.
That's right.
That recruiting coordinator got fired.
Yeah.
And you coached Reggie White, did you not?
Oh, yeah. Bruce Smith, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want you to have to make lists and hurt everybody. Aaron Donald is the closest thing to Reggie White. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just the power aspect. Reggie was so powerful, you know, and Aaron is too. They could overpower players, not just run around them, which both of them could do because they both could run.
God, look at Aaron's quickness.
People. Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great player. Reggie actually played defensive tackle when we got to Philadelphia. And we moved him outside so we could get him one-on-one with the offensive tackles, rather than center block being able to double team you. We hadn't done that with Aaron. We did a little bit in the games, but he's amazing that he can beat double teams inside, and that's I don't know many players that have ever been able to do that.
So J.J. Watt was unique. J.J. came in as an unheralded recruit to Wisconsin, and he just kept getting. Wade, he just kept getting bigger and bigger. I go back and I've YouTubed his college video, and he looks like a tight end. And he
was a walk-on, not just.
He was a walk-on.
Yeah.
What made J.J. Watt? Was it his drive, his ambition, his hands? What? Because, by the way, everybody in the recruiting process whiffed. Everybody.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And even the draft. I mean, they booed him when we drafted him.
Did they?
Yeah, when he came in. That's what I said after the first year, you know. At the end of the year, I could tell he was a great, great player that first year. And I said, hey, J.J. Watt's a bust, all right, but it's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And sure enough, I think that's going to come.
When did you know? First game, first time you looked at him, Wade, you're driving home, and you're like, this kid is just, or maybe the first piece of college tape you watched.
Well, college, we liked him, obviously, but, I mean, you didn't know he was going to be the best, the great, great player he is. You got to be a little bit lucky in the draft, that kind of thing.
Sure.
He had more PBUs, passes knocked down, than any of their defensive backs. So you knew he had some kind of instinct that other players don't have.
Oh, he still has it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And so, and the year we beat Cincinnati in the playoffs, and he intercepted the ball when the quarterback was about 2 feet from him and ran it in for a touchdown and won that game. But at the end of the first year, and that's when I said that about the bust, end of the first year, he started being just dominant and being able to use all his skills. And he's a skilled player. It's not just he's a hard worker. I mean, we got a lot of hard workers, but he's really skilled. If you ever seen him do the box jump, how high he can jump.
I've seen that.
And his explosion, and then his feel for football. Most players, if they run behind the block, coaches go crazy. You can't run around the block. That's a coaching axiom. Don't run around the block. Well, he would run around the block and make the play. And we'd say, no, yeah, good job.
Is it because he was so instinctive?
So instinctive that he knew if the guy was that far in front of him, he could get around and be in the same place. Or if he was right there, he wouldn't. He made all the right decisions. It's like a quarterback that makes all the right decisions. A defensive player can make all the right decisions and be a better player.
Wade Phillips, who looks fantastic. I won't even ask your age, but whatever it is, you look great. You've been coaching for a long time.
Yeah. I'm a year younger than the president, and younger than three of the Democratic nominees. So
yeah, we always end up with 75-year-old guys running. All the young kids want somebody their age. Okay, so let's go to the combine this week. Wade, you've as a head coach, you've had to make the say, and as a coordinator, you've probably been in the ear of a personnel guy saying, "I like this guy." There
not always the say. I was at Dallas, remember? So.
Jerry had to say. Yeah. But
But that was good, too.
How much of the combine, Wade, do you think matters? Have you ever spotted something? Is there something you look for and you think, that matters this week?
Yeah. My dad used to shy away from the combine in that he felt like watching them on tape was how they played football was the most important thing.
Right.
And I think you can get away from that when you watch the combine and see the guy that runs fast. Big guy that runs fast, and you think he can play, and he can't play football. But he can. He is big, and he can run fast. So you have to be careful. I think the interviews are important that we didn't used to get. When I first started, we just watched the tape or the film on them and drafted them. Then we started having the combine. And getting an interview or finding out background on players is important because smart players get better.
It's a good. By the way, that's what Jimmy Johnson says.
Yeah. Well, he took it from me then.
He did. Probably did. Probably Jimmy did. No, I asked him, I said, what's the most important thing? He said, you can't coach a player who's not smart. Yeah. I think Jimmy said their first 6 or 7 guys they took with Dallas had been like academic all-conference guys.
Right. Yeah, it's important. I mean, but it's football smart. It's not book smart, because if it's book smart, I couldn't be coaching.
I love seeing you. Now, you are right now currently not working.
That's right. But I'm going to be coaching.
Where?
Well, it may be a Pop Warner team, but we're going to have a good defense. I know that. So
you're going to coach.
I might be out this year. It looks like in the NFL, but I'm looking forward to coaching again. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll say it again. He's coached 13 top 10 defenses. That's insane. 8 top 5 defenses, and has been in the NFL since 1976. His first team, you were an assistant, a defensive coach on the Houston Oilers with your father.
Right.
And tell the story about how you thought you were pretty good your first year.
I thought I was a great coach because we had Curly Culp, who was nose guard. He's in the Hall of Fame. Elvin Bethea, he's in the Hall of Fame, defensive end. And then Robert Brazil, who lately went in the Hall of Fame. He was outside backer. And I was coaching in the front. I was coaching defensive line. So everything they did was great, and I thought, man, I'm a great coach. Then when I changed jobs, I realized those other guys couldn't do that same stuff.
Nah, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
Thanks. Good to be here. I appreciate it.
Wade Phillips, former Ram DC. Here's Joy with the news.
No.